right, we'll call this meeting of the Freeman School Board to order. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item on the agenda is roll call.
Slade?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Cody?
Yep.
Doug?
Yes.
Kyle?
Yep.
Next item on the agenda, I will require a motion to approve the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Slade. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Kyle. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, conflict of interest disclosures. I have not received any conflict of interest disclosures. Next item on the agenda, public input. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Will require a motion to approve the following: the minutes of the regularly scheduled Board of Education meeting of April 11th, 2022, the minutes of the Cornwall Cooperative Board of Advisors meeting of April 20th, 2022, the hiring of Matthew Brinkman as assistant football coach, the hiring of Chris Seiler as assistant football coach, the hiring of Jacob Bonberg as assistant football coach, financial reports and claims for May. Is there any discussion? And I need a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Cody.
Second.
Second by Doug. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, administrative reports, elementary principal report.
Since our last board meeting, we did finish all of the testing in the district. Out at the colony, we had 5 students pass the access test. That's the English acquisition. So Mello makes a pretty big deal out there when the kids pass that. Classrooms will be getting moved this week with the help of the paras. We actually moved one today. So hopefully we will get that all completed by Friday when we all leave here, so no one has to come back. Tomorrow, the high school is having a talent show, and they're gonna have the elementary do it, and then after that, we're gonna stay there. Shane Vetch sponsored our reading program, and he's gonna pass out certificates. He does a really nice job with supporting us on just about anything we ask him for. Rally Day is on Thursday, the 12th. We're gonna have AR Pizza Party. We're actually doing breakfast pizzas this year, so it doesn't interfere with the lunch program, and we'll do that at 8:30 in the morning on May 11th. And the students' last day is the 13th.
Wow. All right, great, thanks Shane. Next item on the agenda is the high school principal report.
All right, lots of fun things happening here. I'm not gonna read through all those first line things. You guys can look through those. This is some of the things that have been going on here, so a big thanks to all of them. Some important things though, we are working with Freeman Regional. We had a meeting over there last week, and they are teaming up with Lake Area Tech to get a grant through the Department of Labor to offer CNA courses to high school students for high school credit. So we're gonna work with them on that. That will be, it's called Gateway to CNA. It's a course for students. We will offer that in 10th through 12th grade, and the reasoning behind that is because you need to be 16 in order to take that test and pass. So we need to be actually, when the students are interested in it, we'll have to look to see when their birth date is, because Freeman Regional follows the state in, they need to take and pass that test 4 months after they complete the course, so they would need to turn 16 within that time in order to pass that and become a certified nurse's assistant. So we want to offer that to them, so we're working with them to do that. That will be, my understanding at this point will be an online, the course that they will do will be online, and then when they have to go in to actually do their practice to pass, then they would go to the hospital. So we'll work with that. With them on that, and they're excited about that. We're excited about that. We're also going to add apprenticeship classes for our seniors. So right now we do service learning and we do internship, and we're going to add apprenticeship. So the difference basically, service learning we do in-house, internship they can go out of the building, work with somebody unpaid. Apprenticeship allows them to go out of the building, work with somebody paid. So we're going to allow that for our seniors. Mostly just for seniors now, because they usually end up taking all of their cores and have the biggest spaces in their schedule. So especially for those kids who don't qualify for dual credit, then they're looking for some more of that. And it kind of just gives them an idea of what they can do and get a little bit of interest in it before going to college for something they maybe don't want to do. So we've seen some success with that internship program, so we're just adding the paid piece to it for the apprenticeship. So that'll be interesting for students next year. We've already had some teaming up with some employers, so that's good. We also met with HOSA, and we are going to get that chapter started back up next year. Miss Joyce Hora has agreed to be our chapter advisor for that. So she's been working with Brock Crops through the state to get that kind of rolling. I know it was started and then kind of COVID hit and then it just didn't kind of get picked back up. So we're trying to pick that back up. Last day for seniors was last Friday. We're waiting on a few of them to finish up and check out so they can graduate, but we're working on that. We are going to have graduation practice tomorrow in between events, in between the variety show and the awards. So we'll do that. That way our seniors only had to come back for one day versus asking them to come back for several. And then graduation is on Sunday at 2 o'clock. And then composites, I picked up the last composite.
Saturday or
On
Sunday?
Saturday.
Saturday, right?
I'm sorry, Saturday, yep.
Saturday.
Why do I say that? I don't know. Yeah, don't let me say it wrong. Composites, I picked up the last composite on Saturday when I was in Sioux Falls, and so Greg and Larry are working on getting that hung up. They just have to put some more wood up so they can tack that composite there. So all current composites should be up, and then once we know who's all graduating, we can get the next composite up on the wall too. 4 more days of school, students check out on Friday along with staff. Obviously, subbing is always a challenge, so we've been working through that here, but we're almost to the end. And then these are just some of the upcoming things we have left for May and June.
Great, thank you. All right, next item on the agenda, superintendent report.
I am heading up a RASDAC planning committee, and that's ultimately run through the FCDC. RASDAC stands for the Ride Across South Dakota, and these are bicyclists, not motorcyclists. So these individuals are going to start the RASDAC off on June 3rd by coming to Freeman. They will be here anywhere between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock. We'll have a dinner that will be put together for them that evening, and then after that they go to the museum for a tour, and then come back to school or hang around town and enjoy all that Freeman has to offer. They will either be camping right outside of our main entrance if they choose to do so, or they can set up, whether it's a tent or a cot or just sleeping bags on the gym floor, set up indoors as well. So access to our facilities on June 3rd. The next morning on June 4th, we will have a breakfast that will be available for them from 6:30 to 7:30. And then they will start loading the buses, and from 7:30 to 8, and then they head out to Hill City, where they start their trek across the state of South Dakota. So that's very exciting for them to have that opportunity, and for us to have the opportunity of hosting them, not only for the kickoff, but then on June 11th, they finish the ride across South Dakota here in Freeman. So the bicyclists will arrive at the Arboretum between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. We have a bunch of activities that we're working on with this planning committee, from a youth bike rodeo. I'm new to the whole bike rodeo circuit. I'm curious to see what that looks like, excited to see what that looks like. We'll also have a number of food vendors that'll be out at the Arboretum. So it'll be just all around just a great community day, and excited to see the kids have some fun and welcome in those bicyclists as they finish their trek across South Dakota. The last leg that they are riding is 63 miles. So that's one of the longer ones. So they said that the tour director said when they're done they'll be hungry and they'll be ready to be done. So excited for that. It's a kickback for us. RASDAC gives us a small token of appreciation for using our facilities and the maintenance that will go with that, cleaning the facilities like showers and restrooms. And then they also give us a scholarship. So there's a $500 scholarship that one of our graduating seniors this year will receive. Gym floor. So the gym floor we had completed a couple weeks ago. We did see a couple areas where we had some imperfections. That company is planning on coming back. I shared with them that we are not going to chance anything to interfering with graduation. the floor is, you know, it's dried, it's safe to walk on, it's safe to have any activities on. Then this summer, throughout the summer months, they're going to come in, they're going to inspect the floor, and they vowed to make any corrections that they need to make sure that we have a gym floor that we're proud of. So that'll be in the upcoming weeks here. Field days at Cheddar and Wolf Creek Colonies. Lucy and I went out last Friday and did activities with them. We went to Wolf Creek first, and we started around a little after 9 o'clock, did about an hour and a half of activities, and then we grilled out and had lunch with them out there. Kids had a blast. It was a lot of fun, just an all-around great day. After Wolf Creek, then we went out to Cheddar, and we ate first, had lunch with them, and then we did the activities second. So kids just had an absolute blast. Some of the activities we did were hula hoop relay, three-legged race. Can't have a field days without three-legged race. We did spoon and charcoal relay. Instead of doing the egg, we just did charcoal, and we told the kids that if they drop it, they have to scoop it up. But if they have any charcoal on their fingers, that their team was disqualified. So that was a fun one as well. One that was unexpected, one that I didn't think they'd have as much fun as they did, was the beach volleyball volley challenge, where they form a circle and hit the ball. See how many times they can hit the beach ball up in the air, and there's just the right amount of wind where it made it pretty challenging, but they just had a blast just floating with the beach ball out at Cheddar. We did a frisbee toss at Wolf Creek, but the wind was just a little bit too strong, where we tabled that one for with Cheddar. And then we finished out on both colonies with a tug of war, and they really had a lot of fun with that. And we did, for the last one out at Cheddar, we did boys versus girls, and a lot of the moms hopped in and helped the girls out, which was pretty cool to see too. That was our field days out at the colonies. New website is up and running. Don't forget to download the Freeman Flyers app. That's Freeman Flyers. If you search in your app store, it will come up. And Seth has done a fantastic job of communicating with Apogee and getting that all set up, and it's looking very good. The live feed is one of the biggest perks that we saw with Apogee, and that's looking really well, especially when you download the app. You can see that, click on that live feed, and you can see all the pictures on the social media sites of the great things that we have going on. Mm-hmm. So that's all I had.
Great. All right, next item on the agenda, unfinished business. There is no unfinished business. Next item on the agenda is new business. The school board will hold a discussion regarding the 2021-2022 preliminary.
Should be 22.
I was just gonna say, it should be 2022-2023 preliminary budget.
Very preliminary.
Okay. Any big things to point out at all?
I have in every one of them a fund balance. I had to use fund balance to make it balance out. Obviously, capital outlay is because of the building, which we knew we were gonna do. Mm-hmm. And our taxes are less because they went down, and we don't have the opt-out anymore. Mm-hmm. So we had to have a little adjustment there. And we have 2 new teachers in elementary, so this is preliminary, so definitely is going to change.
Okay.
You guys can look it over and see if you have any questions. And we added a sport. That's right. Our state aid did go up, but our taxes went down, so.
Remind me, when do we take the second look at this?
July.
July, perfect,
And
okay.
it gets, September is the final.
Right, exactly, but I remembered, we touched base in between
Yep.
another time, okay. Sounds good. Does anybody have any questions, or is there any discussion about the preliminary budget? No? All right. With that, I will require, I'll require a motion to acknowledge the presentation of the 2022-2023 preliminary budget. Do I have a motion? Motion by Kyle,
Second.
second by Slade. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, the school board will hear an update from the Facilities and Grounds Committee board members.
Nothing much new to report. We are still scheduled to start working on the multipurpose room on the 23rd of this month. Site fence will go up the first couple days. We'll be mobilized and start doing, removing sidewalk and grubbing the site by the end of the week. And then the following week, we'll be working on site utilities, so during the RASDAC event, they'll probably be camping further to the north. We're gonna make that tie-in over here by the main entry, all the sidewalk's gonna go.
Okay.
And then we'll be into footings and foundations by the 13th of June, so. No glaring material issues or supply chain issues at this point. Contracts have been issued, so everything's on track for a finish date of late November.
An item for discussion from the Facilities and Grounds Committee would be, if we want to, if the board wishes to do a groundbreaking ceremony, that's something that we could work in, maybe the week of the 23rd. Talked with Doug earlier today, and Pitts has got gold shovels, and it could be a photo opportunity for the courier to come in and take a picture. Maybe you have Chris and Cody and Doug, since they're on the Facilities and Grounds Committee, and myself could be a part of that photo.
Yeah, what are the
Any
thoughts?
Any opinions on whether we do that or not?
Yeah. I have no preference, I guess. What are your thoughts, Cody and Doug, since you'd be in the picture and you're on the committee?
Don't matter to me.
Okay.
I think it'd be cute.
I don't think it would be cute.
Yeah. I think we should do it.
Chris, maybe we can organize a couple of our wrestlers to join us on that day too, and
I do. Yeah, it'd be nice. I think we should.
get some of the students to be part of the picture too. So,
Yeah, that would be great.
cool deal.
Awesome.
Till the 23rd then?
That week.
Whatever day,
Whatever.
whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I can bring the stuff down, so.
Let's be in contact. Does that work?
Week of the 23rd, probably before we start.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Let's get through this week first.
Right, one thing at a time. All right, next item on the agenda, school board will hear an update from the Freeman Task Force Committee members. This was something I just wanted to touch base. I know, gosh, I can't remember when it was, maybe a couple months ago, Cody, that you had brought up that we should probably start looking at this summer, chatting if we want to, see if there's any interest from Marion and Freeman Academy in, co-oping for girls softball. You know, looking at the numbers of, participants and whatnot. So, I wanted to kind of circle back around and get everybody's thoughts on that before we get the extended task force together from Freeman and reach out to actually Marion and Freeman Academy. So any thoughts?
We do have some information as far as numbers go. Christy last week
Oh, good.
did a survey for the students that were interested in playing softball. We feel that there's probably a couple more out there than this. I'm not sure exactly how many. I would say that probably a pretty safe bet would be less than 5, probably 2 or 3. But out of the girls, this is 6th through 11th grade girls, so that'd be next year's 7th through 12th grade girls. We had 11 girls that have committed via the survey.
Okay.
I think with softball, you know, coming in new, there's probably gonna be some exceptions, and it's gonna be understandable if it takes some programs to build up to where they have a varsity and a junior varsity.
Sure.
Also, I was gonna say, do we have a breakdown as to grade level?
Right,
of
are they
what- Yeah.
9
Is
sixth
it-
graders
Is it
and-
mainly 6th, 7th, and 8th graders compared to, you know,
Pretty equal.
Probably will be for the
It's on my door, you can look at it.
okay,
On my office door is the sign-up sheet.
okay.
It's some young girls and some older girls.
Some schools do run a JV schedule. I've seen some schools that did a
Well,
JV
that was gonna
schedule.
be my next
Right.
deal, you know, if it's a bunch of younger girls, maybe we have to look at for this first couple of years of just doing a JV team rather than, go ahead.
We have to play 10 varsity games to be eligible for postseason. For next spring. I had a number of athletic directors that are adding softball come to Freeman last Thursday to meet, and we had some people on Zoom as well, and we talked and scheduled, and it went pretty good. I think what schools are going to do is, number one, play varsity. Maybe they can't play JV and varsity. So the priority would be varsity. Scheduling, we looked at trying to play 2 5-inning games. So you'd play a doubleheader on that night. So you're getting 2 games in. And then just see how it goes. You know, you can start playing games in late March, and who knows, right? How many of those you get in. But there were some schools that obviously they know they're gonna have JV and varsity. And I just said, you know, I don't know at this point, but that's where things are at with the state, that you have to have 10. And tournaments, some teams are having tournaments, and you know, tried to get a couple of those on the schedule. So I guess I feel like we have to, you know, for sure play varsity, and then hopefully have enough to do both.
How did they break down the classes? Just out of curiosity.
You mean A and B?
Is it just A and B? Is that what it's gonna be? Okay.
A and B. And they just put us in a, you know,
Right.
a big region, and again, there were a couple schools that might get us. Frank Cutler was on the call, and he just said, you know, our school is not sure. There are schools like that we're not sure if we're gonna jump in. We might next year, and so, you know, there were those as well, that they didn't really schedule anything, but, you know, we got some things penciled in, and it was very beneficial to talk with these other
Sure.
ADs that came, and, you know, it was Wagner and Avon and Gayville Vollen and Tri Valley and Beersford, I mean, you know, in our area. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting to see where we're at, but, yeah. So, I guess we'll see what we get with, more girls sign up, and, but yeah, I think you're gonna need numbers.
Right.
You know, it's gonna be in the spring. I think most schools expect girls are gonna be doing 2 things,
Right.
and scheduled with that in mind,
Okay.
right? Try to find Mondays were pretty open. Schools were looking at that, and right, and just if you've got that, you might be missing a couple here and there, and so the more numbers, the better, I guess, I feel like, so.
You're talking about the youth structure? Youth softball.
Did we talk about that?
And I like, publicly, we know, with Mary together for the youth.
Are you talking summer rec?
Rec, yeah.
Summer rec.
I don't know anything about summer rec.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't speak to that.
Do you know if Marion or the academy have polled their students to see how many they might have interested?
They haven't, but I can ask them to do that.
How about
That's a good idea.
Chris? Do you know how many or Cody? Do you know how many girls are on your 14U team?
15 sticks in my head.
There's 15 girls right now in 14U, and that's with Freeman, Marion. There is a girl that lives in Freeman that attends Menno. And I think there's 2 Canastota girls that are allowed to play.
So
Is Menno planning
And
on?
2 girls, I think, are actually 12Us that are moved up.
Jim River.
Sure.
Yes, the Jim River Trappers are having softball.
So Mount Scotland are co-opted then,
Yeah.
okay.
They were at the meeting as well.
All right, it sounds to me like then it probably would be a good idea to get at least the task force together to see kind of what makes sense, and if the board's in agreement, we can then, after that, reach out to the other schools to see if they have any interest as well. 'Cause we really don't know yet. Until we gauge, it's
We're
very,
gonna need more
very
girls for
beginning.
varsity
Yeah.
and university,
Yeah.
so that's gonna be our only option.
Okay, so, all right.
So task force, just playing this out timeline wise, if we do, target, this might be a little aggressive, but target the last week in May for the task force. If the task force says, yes, we should organize that meeting, would we be okay with moving ahead and scheduling that joint task force in June, bringing 2 board members from each of the districts that are identified as, which likely would be Academy and Marion. That would be a discussion for the task force, but if their task force agrees to that and recommends that, move forward with scheduling that meeting in July? Or would we want to have the
June.
June,
Right.
June, or would we want to have that June board meeting and make that decision and then schedule it after June, after the June meeting?
I mean, it'll be a fact-finding mission. I don't think we'll be, I mean, you know.
What exactly are they gonna do? Figure out which schools to co-op with, number wise?
Like our Freeman, extended Freeman one, but then he's saying, is it okay then if that group gets together and the consensus is, yes, we'd like to reach out to Marion and Freeman Academy, is it okay if we also, if it works out with the schedules, is it okay if we schedule the 6 board members and 3 superintendents to just talk about a possibility before we bring it back to the board, or is that something that you'd like to?
Personally, I'd skip the task force if everybody here is okay with it. What's the point? I mean, if we're interested in, I mean, if all 5 people here are interested in talking to Marion, you're kind of doing a pointless step in there, I think, but.
I mean, that is a valid point, that if we need more than us, then there really is not much reason to bring the task force together, because that step in the process that we've already determined. That's a good point.
Well, the only hiccup I have is, if the boys' baseball team, we go with Canastota, is there an interest in Canastota in having their own squad, or were they looking for somebody to play with girl-wise softball?
Canastota
Canastota,
doesn't have a 12U or a 14U team.
they're not adding it.
You have girls, though, from Canastota that play with us now.
That's why those girls are coming over here, because they don't have enough girls for summer.
We don't have enough girls to even play summer rec,
Right.
12 and 14.
Right, so it's, are we gonna bring them into the fold too? Are they gonna be part of the talk, or? Personally, I would start with Freeman Academy and Marion and see where you go.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be my,
Well, and maybe
guess since
speak to, I think it's a great question to see what's their level of interest
Right.
too. Let's see how many
Academy.
girls are interested.
I think we should at least ask.
Yeah, no, I think that's reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Comedy for him too.
Right.
Icing on the cake.
Sounds good?
No Freeman task force.
We'll
Great.
just-
I think
Yeah.
everybody's in favor of
Yeah,
that.
I think so.
I mean, the writing's on the wall, we need numbers.
Yep. So, move forward and, yeah. Okay.
Christie, do you know when the state is looking at scheduling, as far as the games and things like that? Because I'm sure that's a question that will get asked if we have.
I already have a preliminary schedule
Okay.
that the state gave us this is the first day you can play a game. This is when the SODAC 16 is, this is the state tournament. We have all of that. So, yeah.
They didn't put out a schedule, it was up to the
Yeah.
agents to do it.
And
Okay.
then football's the only thing they schedule.
Gotcha.
So that's why, one AD said, well, remember when girls' basketball went from the fall to the winter, it was like starting over. So same kind of thing, everybody got together and, we had, however many conversations going on in one room, but that helped that process, and they felt like this is sort of like that, right? We're starting from square one, so that's what we did last week, and so we've got some things penciled in anyway.
Then off of that, as far as hiring a coach, probably should be something that we probably should start looking for if we're planning on having a softball team and.
We should probably have that first meeting with Marion and Freeman.
Well, that-
Academy.
Yeah, because that would be something that would be folded into a co-op agreement as well.
First, we wanna see what their numbers are, if they have interest. Second, then we'll start talking about coaches and probably locations we would play and things like that.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All right, then we will require a motion to enter executive session for the purpose of South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2, parentheses 1. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Motion by Slade. Do I have a second? Second by Cody. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Be in executive session at 7:31 PM.